Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our show. I'm your producer, Jack Tunney, and we're coming to you live on tape from the Sandwich Studio in Oceanside, California. It is T-minus 12 days to the election, and we have a great show for you today. We will be breaking down the biggest news stories of the week. Then we'll be introducing our new segment, Questions for the Boys, where we will answer some questions we were asked over our last couple weeks. Then, in our sandwich, we will discuss the Senate, before finally giving you the heavily desired, much needed, thirst-quenching milk. That being said, please go like and subscribe to our channel, comment down below. Your support is keeping us going, and without further ado, in association with SitRep Media, the hosts of the PB&J podcast.
Is that us? Are we on?
Hey, and welcome back to the PB&J podcast. My name is Brandon Blackman.
Yes, and I am Peter Whitehead. Let's jump right into the first bite. We have a story on the Electoral Map. We're going to take a look. This New York Times article is really fun because you kind of get to mess around with it a little bit, see how things are going. Scroll down just a little bit, Jack Tunney.
It's a little diagram.
Yeah, so what we have here are, in the two circles, you have more. Scroll down more. Oh. Thank you.
Yes.
In the two circles, we have the states that are either leaning or safe for each candidate. And then down below, you see a couple states that are kind of more in the toss-up range. Okay, so for Trump, the only state that's leaning towards him right now is Texas. And then we have a bunch of toss-up states. That's Ohio, Florida, Iowa, Georgia, North Carolina.
And it's interesting that Texas and Florida are both tied right now, actually. And the most
Very
recent
interesting.
polls.
He won by a large margin in 2016 in both of those states. So it is very interesting to see that. Also in there that you can't really see is a tiny little Maine 2nd district that is also a toss-up state. Yeah, Jack Tunney circling it there. Because Maine and Nebraska, they vote each of their districts get their own set of electoral votes that they can assign. So not the whole. It's not a winner takes all state with those two, Maine and Nebraska. But yeah, we're gonna just do a little bit of fiddling with this just so we can kind of see. First thing I want to do is run through some of those scenarios down there at the bottom, Jack Tunney. You see them, those maps. There's the near 2016 repeat. Go ahead and click that. So as you can see, Trump wins with 290. He wins every swing state and even some of the states that are leaning towards Biden. So that's Arizona, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania,
Georgia, Iowa.
Yeah, and those are the swing states, right? Georgia, Iowa, North Carolina, Florida, Idaho, or Iowa. Christ's sake.
Ohio. I think that's interesting because those are states that, usually do vote Republican. And
yeah, if you were to look at those states in a normal election, they probably would vote Republican. Except for Wisconsin. Wisconsin usually goes Democrat. But, yeah. So
the Wisconsin representative behind the camera.
It's like half and half. It depends.
Yeah, but I think it went Democrat the last, not in 16, but the last 4 before that. I can't remember exactly. Go ahead and go to the next one. Trump ekes it out. This is the one that I think is more plausible than what we're looking at right now. So Trump still wins, but Biden gets a little bit more of a close electoral thing here. As you can see, the numbers are super close. That's a 268 to 270. I was looking at some nightmare scenarios. I sent it to Brandon while he was in.
While I was trying to enjoy my piece.
While he was trying to enjoy his piece, yeah, for sure. And I worked out a map that was 269, an electoral tie, which would be a fucking disaster this year. It would be really, really bad if that fell to the Senate and the House of Reps.
And it wasn't anything super...
no,
impossible.
It wasn't impossible. No, I think I could probably get it to do it right now. Give him.
Well, you'd have to restart it because you can't change it from there.
You can't pull it out. Yeah. So okay, let's reset. Reset, Jack Tunney. Give Trump all of the swing states. That's Iowa, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, Ohio, Maine 2nd district. Give him Texas. Give him Arizona.
Which is all, not impossible.
And I think it's New Hampshire. Give
With
Trump
11?
New Hampshire. Give him the Nebraska second. Or wait, no. Take off the Nebraska second. Give it to Biden. Give Trump Nevada.
7 votes.
No, it's 6.
Oh, yeah, it's 260.
And then the rest go to Biden.
Dude.
That's a 269.
Dude. Wait.
And that's not even implausible. That all that would require is Trump winning the swing states and winning Arizona, New Hampshire, and Nevada, which are all states that went red in 2016.
Jeez. Yo, wait. Because that's actually crazier than what you were kind of like, summarizing for me. Because I was expecting him to have to, flip some blue states.
No. All he has to do is win the states that he won in 2016 and lose Pennsylvania and Minnesota and Michigan. Wisconsin and Michigan. And if he loses Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, but wins every other state that he won in 2016, there will be a 269 tie, which is not fun. Go ahead and click that Biden wins the leans. Now, this is an important point that I want to make here. If Biden wins none of the states that are in toss-up, and like none of the gold states, he still wins based on him winning the leans by a comfortable margin too, 290 to 248. That's a comfortable margin for an electoral win. Now let's look at Biden dominates. This is the last one on the map.
I do want to mention that the leans includes, states like Arizona, which I still don't believe that.
Yeah, it's looking good. Arizona is looking good for Mr. Biden. In fact, it's leaning blue. It's not even considered a toss-up.
It's weird. I cannot wait to see the election results. We're gonna do a full episode on that, but
we'll be losing our fucking minds.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so this is if Biden wins every toss-up state, including the states that are leaning towards him right now, and that's a 375 to 163. That would be an electoral devastation unlike anything we've ever seen before. Like the last time we've seen something like this is probably Reagan. Yeah. With that large of an electoral lead.
Winning California, right? Didn't Reagan win California?
Yeah.
As a Republican?
Well, he was a governor of California when he was running. So yeah. I think he won California both times, which is impressive for a Republican. But I just wanted to run over that really quick. I thought it was interesting.
I mean, it's insane how 1 or 2 states will really, decide the election. Certain, 10, 12 points.
Yeah,
it's not that it's close, but the way the numbers are divvied up, like it's going to really come down to every state mattering.
Yeah,
not in the sense of every person's vote matters, but every single area is going to have an effect, and it's going to be just watching those results come in is going to be dramatic, man. I am not going to be okay.
For sure,
I won't be okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to talk a little bit more later on as we look at Senate elections and everything, the states to watch in terms of the election. I'll bring that up then. But I think I mentioned it once before. I have a slight modification on it in a previous podcast. I think I mentioned it. But I have a slight modification on it, states to watch on election night. And in the subsequent nights as we will be talking, the election will likely not be decided on November 3rd. Will probably be more like November 7th, November 7th to November 20th, even at the latest.
Hopefully by the latest.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of nonsense going on. There's a lot of...
Well, it could get into litigation and go to the Supreme Court and everything, and then that will take a lot longer. But the good thing is that, as we know, if you've ever taken a government class, the Electoral College doesn't actually vote till early December. So the election's not actually done until then. So we won't, it's not like we're going to be pushing back proceedings or everything. Even if the election goes into late November, we're still going to get ahead of that deadline to make it to the Electoral College vote. So nothing should be delayed as long as it's before the end of November that we see the result. But it will be a scary November.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be a very scary
November. We've got people out here putting up fake drop boxes.
Yeah.
We've got not even,
Perfect.
People. We've got Republicans, hired people who work for the government, This is insane. Like, they are using their power as hired officials and their positions of influence within the party to mislead their own voters. That's the most insane part to me. It's not like I was going to one of these, like, they'd be outside like gun shops or like
Right.
churches, I heard. And, I wasn't going there. It was your community going to these unofficial, unregulated ballot boxes. So I just wanted to mention more about the details of it. This happened about kind of like the middle of October, as people really started to vote. But these boxes were found mostly in Orange County, some in LA County and Fresno, but I feel like it was definitely centered in Orange County, which, as most people know, is one of the red centers in California. And it was just surprising that someone would even think to go so far as to actually implement that kind of system. I saw that one of the Republicans, he put out a statement, or it was like leaked audio or something, and he was saying that the Democrats have been like cleaning their clock in California, so they needed to ramp up their practices to
Cleaning their clock.
Yeah, because Republicans are just losing favor all over the country, but especially here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're just getting cleaned out all throughout the county, even Orange County. So they're going to these extreme
Well, yeah.
measures.
We live in a district that was red for a decade, 12 years or something like that, and
Yeah,
then
until
11 won in 16, 18, 16, I think.
Daryl Issa.
Yeah, Daryl Issa was our
a big
representative forever. So I hear he's running again.
Yeah, and then also they like just the idea of them putting these boxes out, trying to encourage voting, but it's like they encourage like illegal voting that's not actually going to be counting, and they're saying it's such a huge problem, and then they do the exact same thing, and it's like they're so hypocritical, they're so serious about their arguments, and it's just so empty. It's so annoying. And like, to the fact that they actually physically went out there and put out fake ballot boxes, it's insane.
Yeah.
And that's not even the worst of it, because
And they were comparing it to is this what you were just talking about? They were comparing it to Democrats, how they do ballot harvesting. They go to like retirement homes and they'll have people fill out ballots, and then they'll pick them all up, and then they'll like send them.
yeah, they were trying to compare it to ballot harvesting and how ballot harvesting has been legalized in certain communities, and they were just trying to say that, oh well, we're just doing what the Democrats are doing.
Right.
But I think there's actually like a significant difference in those two processes, right?
I think it's majorly. Well, first of all, you're seeing it's the difference between me handing you my ballot, right, and me putting my ballot in a box where no one is around.
And a box that is going to sit there and never get picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm clear
It's
malpractice.
Clear difference.
I also think, I didn't know that early in-person voting was such a big deal as well. And it makes sense. We always see the videos of the inner cities, people waiting in lines, long lines for just to vote.
Yeah, I was just down there at the ROV for San Diego County because I'm working as a poll worker, shouting myself out again. I saw that, Brandon. You can't hide from me with the television over there. But I was just down there, and there was a line for early voting down there.
Yeah, and that's not even what I would say is like an impacted area.
No.
So it's like, personally, there's a lot that can be said. People have obviously seen all the clips and all the videos of people waiting in lines. Actually, I was watching MSNBC today, and they interviewed a woman who like sat in the rain with her baby for 30 minutes waiting to vote in the primaries.
That's what you got to do sometimes, man.
And it's just like, no matter what, I believe that we need to start moving toward a system where mail-in voting is, it doesn't have to be the norm, but it has to be seamless. It has to be,
And it is in a lot of places.
has to be preferential. Like,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be easier for someone to wait in a line for 30 minutes. That shouldn't be the first option anymore.
No.
And
I still think you should be able to like vote from your phone. I don't know why they can't make that secure enough to manage that. Can you imagine
Russia
Could you imagine the turnout if
Pete, you know
Snapchat?
it's because the government wants in on them Apple devices, and if Apple gave them any leverage, voting,
what? They don't need any leverage.
They would have to have complete control over the system.
You open the door, they come
Nah.
in.
Yeah, no,
They would not. It would be an app, and they would have complete control over the app. They don't need the complete control over the phone system. Why would they?
You never know, dude. Sith's working absolutes.
Right. Only Sith stealing absolutes.
See, I don't know tech that well, but I'm pretty sure someone could just come in and like just edit the code, right?
Hey, is Sith plural already?
Yes. The Sith.
They're the Sith.
And the Jedi, you don't say Jedis.
No, they're the Jedi. 2 eyes. Jedi.
Many Jedi.
Many Jedi. But also, there was kind of this.
No, General Grievous definitely says "you Jedi" at
Hello
one
there.
point, so I think it's a plural.
There was a very suspicious news story that came out over the last couple of weeks as people moved, to finish registering to vote as those deadlines came up. In Virginia, on the very last day of voter registration, I don't know, was it like internet for the entire area? It was
internet for the area that the registrar's office is in.
Oh,
so they
specifically, yeah,
weren't
okay.
getting any data.
Yeah, so a cable was cut. It seems like an accident happened, like a physical mistake. It wasn't like a
Accident.
power shutdown. Maybe like a car crashed into a box or something, and suddenly the internet is down.
Yeah, a car crashes into a box.
That's actually been happening out here recently.
Yeah, no, it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it is a remarkable coincidence that in a state that has a history of voter suppression, on the last day of voter registration, when Democrats are having their biggest drive for voter registration out of the entire year, that the internet goes out.
And
that's whack.
And I know a car can go through a transformer, and that's pretty easy, pretty small.
I thought cars turned into transformers.
Well, you were also correct, but not in a literal sense.
The jokes are weak tonight. I'm sorry.
No. Like it's very difficult to accidentally get the internet turned off.
Yeah,
You know
like
what I mean?
accidentally cut.
You can't.
it would have to be
drive
some
a
kind
car.
of extreme situation.
Yeah, you can't drive a car into a cellular tower.
Great point. Yeah, exactly.
Because it's completely covered and it's way thicker
Or
than your
underground.
car. Or it's underground. So this might be something internal.
Yeah, well, there's a lawsuit happening saying that they have to expand the voting registration for 2
Good
more
luck.
days, but I don't understand how that even makes sense since the 2 days have already passed. But there is a lawsuit happening, so I mean, at least maybe we'll get protection so it doesn't.
Happen again.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
definitely just
Definitely
messy.
sketchy.
I don't know if it's.
I don't want to push like conspiracy theories or whatever.
No, I don't-
I was kind of when I was making all those references and everything.
Yeah,
but
when I heard the headline, I definitely I heard the headline before we started researching for the show. I definitely was like, "Wow, okay, last day, of course.
Yeah.
Great job, Democrats." But
Thanks, Obama.
no, it turns out it seems like it's pretty standard, honestly, in my opinion.
So was I supposed to do absentee shenanigans in Texas? Was that you? Is that me?
That could be you, but I mean, what shenanigans? I don't know the
I
shenanigans.
could just flash.
Well, so Texas
the
is one of
graphic.
5 states that didn't expand mail-in balloting for
Of
their
course.
constituents. And there was a lawsuit happen. Oh, not that yet.
Oh,
My bad.
this is different absentee.
Yeah. It's all good. That's gonna be a fun graphic too. That's coming up pretty soon. But yeah, their absentee voting. There was like a couple of lawsuits, and they tried to push it through in the courts, but it was denied because they got a whole bunch of conservatives out there. They're just denying that stuff left and right. So basically, most of the voters in Texas will have to go to the polls. Which is not optimal for obvious reasons. They do have the capability for like elderly people, if they want to like drive up, they can bring the voting machines out to them. So that's nice. But I feel like they should just be able to vote by mail. Like everyone else is doing it. I don't know why you feel you're special, Texas. No offense. I know you do feel like you're special. You tried to secede from the union every decade. So
Okay.
continue to feel that way.
Too. Texas is, expansive. Like it's not easy to get from one side of a county to the other side.
I just read that Jill Biden made a trip through Texas, and and that she was on the road for 800 miles. And I was like,
Oh
only
my
in
God.
Texas
Oh my
would you be
God.
on the road for 800 miles and be in the same state.
That's so insane.
But yeah, so that's what's happening in there. I mean, across the union, there are these stories popping up of people having to deal with things that they shouldn't have to deal with in this special election.
Instead of the
this
government
strange election,
protecting the people, it's forcing them out into dangerous environments.
Yeah, and I was reading a whole bunch of stories regarding this, and they were a lot of the voters that were being polled out there. Of course, these are the people that are like actually at the at the polling station. So a lot of them are going to say this, right? But they were saying they would stand in line 8-9 hours. They would wait as long as it takes, because we have to exercise our right to vote. And I respect the hell out of those people I voted by mail. I respect the hell out of those people that are standing in line for an entire day just to make sure that their voice is heard by this democracy. I have profound respect for you guys.
I think that's something people in privileged communities got to remember. Like when I go vote, it's a 10-minute process. I go ride my bike around the corner right to the polling place. It's right there. In and out, 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? People have to spend all day. People got to call off work. People got to hold their baby in their arms in the rain.
In the rain.
Go look up that MSNBC story. That's
Yeah, it's crazy.
And millions of people out there like that. But,
Yeah.
Hundreds
of millions even.
Continue.
But yeah, so one of the things I wanted to talk about insofar as the election nonsense that we have been talking about is how late will it be before we see a result in the election? Jack Tunney, now would be the time for that link. Thank you, sir. So we have some important states that are waiting a couple days before announcing their final results, as they are waiting for returning absentee ballots by mail.
Why is LA County on the second?
What?
On the left. Why is LA by itself?
That's Louisiana, my guy.
Shouldn't. Oh.
That's Louisiana. That's the state.
Oh, continue.
This just in: LA secedes
Yes.
from California.
Yeah, so Louisiana's the deadline is the day before. It's not even election day, so that's fun.
Is that suspicious?
But I wanted to point out a couple of states to you guys that are on this list, because these are some of the states that are going to be very important in this election. First of which is North Carolina. You'll see them fourth down on the 6th of November list there. North Carolina is up in the air. It's leaning Trump. On my prediction, I said Trump is going to win it, but they're going to wait 3 days before they announce the final results with all the absentee ballots.
Key state.
Pennsylvania, the most key of the key states.
Very key state.
If Biden wins Pennsylvania, I think he will win the rest of the election.
If Biden loses Pennsylvania,
He will lose the rest of the
will
election.
probably lose.
Pennsylvania is waiting 3 days before announcing its final result. And then
that's-
you see Iowa on November 9th.
This story just hit me, dude.
Yep. Iowa on November 9th. Nevada, November 10th. Nevada is a swing state this year. Ohio, November 13th. And way back there, Michigan, November 17th, which is a major, major, major state in this election as well. So we could be waiting. The last two there are California and Washington. I think those will go blue. I'm not going to worry about those. But we could theoretically be waiting till the 17th of November to hear about the election results.
But we also have 3 days to, count the North Carolina votes, count the Pennsylvania votes. 3 days to solidify that. There's gonna be challenges. There is 100% going to be challenges,
And it's going to be scary. We're all going to be on the edge of our seats for 5-6 days. I don't know if it'll go all the way to November 17th, but if the counting in Michigan, if Michigan is going to matter, if Michigan is one of the key states, which we know that it's going to be, we might have to wait for that count. We might have to wait all the way to November 17th before we have a final result for this election. And I want people to get that in their heads. I want that to be rationalized. I want that to flow over people.
not
because
going to be night of like
no,
usual.
We are very used to the big event. Everyone sits down. They drink tons of alcohol. They watch as the map turns red or blue or whatever it is in that year. and we get excited at the end of the night when the election is called. That is not what it is going to be. If people are calling the election on the night of, they have it wrong. I'm telling you, they have it wrong. Do not listen to people on the night of the election. We'll have a better view then, but we won't know.
It could change.
It could change overnight. It could change.
And it could change, against Biden.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, both ways. It could do any sorts of things. It could go up, down, sideways, in circles. We have no idea.
Or it could end in a tie.
As I pointed out earlier. But let's move on to another point that I think is very important. And this is something that Trump has been touting in the debates, in his town hall, and he's been saying it for months and months and months. Excuse me. My voice is getting hoarse. I'm doing a lot of talking today.
We're all COVID negative in here.
Yeah, we have a bubble. We take care of each other. But one of the things that Trump says, and I'm gonna do the Trump impression for you guys.
Wrong.
I've spoken to Pfizer. I've spoken to all of the people that you have to speak to, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and others. They can go faster than that by a lot. It's become very political. Okay, so that's the Trump claim. Let's talk about that for a second. So the first thing is, in early October, there was the vaccine trials for Johnson & Johnson, which is one of the companies that he mentioned in the debate. They paused their vaccine trials due to an unknown illness received by one of their test subjects. It wasn't COVID, it was something else, but they believe that the vaccine is what gave it to them. So they had to pause that trial. So they're not looking on it. That's one of the names, Johnson & Johnson. That's one of the names that he mentioned.
Johnson & Johnson, also known for animal testing and other nefarious practices.
Yeah, not a very fun company. It's a family company.
Not exactly sure of the details.
That's what their commercial tells me. It's a family company.
Oh yeah, the commercials.
No, I think they took that off.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, it used to
no
be.
longer a family company?
Yeah, it was for the baby commercials. I remember that.
A money company.
Last year or two, at least. They just removed the family. Yeah, because they can't say that. It's like a multi-billion-dollar company at this point.
A family company.
But yeah, so Johnson & Johnson vaccine trials halted. I believe they're up and going again, but there was a 2-week period there. They weren't even happening. Pfizer CEO, so that's another one of the companies that he mentioned. That was the first one that he mentioned. I've spoken to Pfizer. He says that Trump's timeline is completely inaccurate. The company is working at the speed of science. That's a quote. He continued to say that he is not using any political timeline and that the only pressure we feel, and it weighs heavy, are the billions of people, millions of businesses, and hundreds of government officials that are depending on us.
That's a good point.
And that's what I like to hear from a guy who's doing that. Now, Tony, if you could pull up the latest numbers and maps for COVID-19, because I just want to take a look at this just so everyone has a full understanding, because I feel like
the speed of
people have been jaded a little bit. Scroll down for me. People have been jaded a little bit with this COVID news. They may not have been paying as much attention these last couple months as they were maybe in the beginning more. That is what I want. Yeah, so that's that right there is a pandemic.
Look at liberal California. Look at liberal California.
Look at New York too.
Oh, look at liberal New York.
Yeah.
Terrible states. Terrible. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's right there. You got down the Mississippi River right there. It's huge.
Just for everyone at home, this is where my family lives, and yes, they all caught COVID. They did not wear their mask to a funeral. One individual, so it's my mother's sister's husband's first wife.
Mother's sister's husband's first wife. Got it.
My uncle's first wife. She showed up, didn't have a mask on. She had COVID. Everyone on
What's
my
her full
side
name and address?
caught it. I cannot give that out. I don't know it myself.
What's her social security number?
Also, I want to comment that I was in Cleveland, Ohio, in Lorain County, right on Lake Erie, which is a high risk area.
Yeah, right here at Brown County.
And I was at a funeral, and everyone wore masks, and I did not catch COVID.
Yeah, COVID negative. We made him take a test before he came back in the studio with us.
I took the test and I
Yeah.
got a result very fast. It was
Oh,
actually
that's
pretty cool.
also why we had to take a break last week. Brandon was elsewhere.
But this map is crazy.
Yeah, look at this map, guys.
It's not Florida anymore.
It's not around the corner.
Midwest.
It's not. The end is not around the corner. We watched the debate tonight. That's one of the things that Trump said was, the ending of this is right around the corner.
Look at the Puerto Rico trend.
It's
Puerto
moving
Rico.
up. It's moving inland. It's
Puerto
moving-
Rico isn't a state. I don't know why they don't even vote in the presidential election. I don't know why I would take care of them.
I don't understand Donald Trump's his thought process.
Do they vote in the election?
Well, they do. But if you made them a legitimate state, we could make more money with them.
For sure. I think all of the territories should be made states.
They
Scroll
should.
up a little bit. Get that full picture down. Because it's
don't-
like
Except for Guam. Fuck Guam.
Well, all right.
I'm gonna stand by that opinion too. I'm kidding. Guam is fine.
Samoa then.
it's so nasty, man.
Yeah. So that's not a a crisis that's in the rear view. Okay. That's not a crisis that just around the corner. And I'll tell you what, even if the vaccine came out tomorrow and it was safe, we would still have problems in this country with this virus. So
Mutations.
yeah, it could mutate past the effectiveness of the vaccine.
How long is it gonna stay dormant and before
Yeah.
reinfections? The first case of reinfection happened over the last few weeks, and the guy was like in the hospital because it was worse the second time. I heard a story about a
Yeah,
20
first American that got it twice, right?
Oh yeah, the first American. And
Yeah.
I heard about a 29-year-old who was put in a coma by COVID, like 11 days, and he was not overweight, not anything. I think he may have had diabetes.
Yeah, and that the president goes to the best hospital for 3 days on the weekend, gets a fucking chemical cocktail, and he's back on the campaign trail by Monday.
Thanks for bringing that up. I'd just like to remind everybody on this map, everywhere that has, it's just kind of blank. It's pretty blank.
Nevada.
These are mostly very beautiful forests that don't need to be raked. And they're all safe from Donald Trump's terrible job at containing a health crisis. Back to you.
Thank you, Jack Tunney, for that update. You can put us back up on the screen. I just wanted people to take a look at that map just so they understand.
I wanted to give it another up and down because we kind of lose Florida and Puerto Rico and the bottom half of Texas
And Alaska. Look
and
over
then,
at
of course
Alaska.
and Hawaii on this bottom half.
How did Hawaii get COVID, man? Who flew
Actually,
there?
Hawaii is
Who
doing
flew
really
there?
good. They're doing really good, but they're still got an increase.
Brandon, they're still doing tourism.
Who flew there?
People are flying there. Flights are cheap.
Oh, look
I
at
like
that.
these.
Ooh.
Yeah, look,
That's crazy.
what's-
Yeah, you
oh,
like to
look
see
at
the
the
bar part.
Dakotas, man. It's the Dakotas. The Dakotas are freaking going crazy. They're the how are when is the Dakotas
Well, you got to think.
ever been a hotspot? Ever?
When they were building Mount Rushmore.
Twice.
Yeah, twice it's been a hot spot.
It was hot, and then everyone kind of forgot about it for a while.
You know why they put Mount?
I don't want to know.
No, we
I
know
don't wanna
why.
know.
and
Yeah,
I'm
we
not-
know why.
I have no
We're
idea.
not. We are. Shout out to all my Native American.
Yeah, we love you. We're sorry.
Native American listeners. The Black Hills belong to you. And I
Yeah,
hope
they
you
do.
Understand.
Not a bunch of white presidents.
Hey,
They're everywhere. We don't need them
that
up
was
there.
that was the true knife in the back.
history is written
If
by the
If
victors.
the millions of dead, bloody men.
Then
and
shut the
women.
fuck up, Brandon.
History
I
is
wish I
written
could-
by
If
the
I
victors.
wish
If
I could
history is
make a
written by
sen-
the victors,
Wish I
stop
could
talking.
Make a sentiment.
History is written by the victors, and we're writing it right now, Peter.
Yeah, you and me are rewriting history.
Speaking
All right,
of,
put us back up. Put us back up. Speaking of rewriting history.
Speaking of rewriting history, now more than ever we have, just can I even say this word anymore? An epidemic. We have.
you could say epidemic.
Is that a different? What's the
No,
difference?
I think it's just
Epidemic
been-
is a national. Pandemic is international, I believe.
The problem of misinformation, disinformation, entertainment news, and just memes being used as the main form of spreading information through headlines and clips. That is officially our main way of communication now.
Yep.
These.
I mean, you guys are watching us right now.
Yeah, but a podcast, hour and a half. You'll see us. You'll see what we think. We'll be able to correct ourselves. But you see a Twitter post, and it's like 240 characters and a picture, and it's posted by anybody. And you know, the crazy thing about Twitter is that they'll just take the screenshot and now it's on Facebook, and now you can't even like, you know, source it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a main problem of it, this reposting problem that has now made the 2020 election filled with way more misinformation than the 2016 election. And that's coming from this New York Times article that is you know, is claiming that Facebook misinformation is reaching higher numbers than ever before.
Even in 2016, in which it was at its highest on record before that. So,
yeah, I mean, the amount of unproven stuff, and you know, especially that's just being encouraged by the president. You know, the president is encouraging.
well, yeah, we just watched him lie for an hour and a half tonight. So,
Yeah, exactly. Like that alone by itself is credit enough. But
yeah.
And then you get into like, you know, foreign actors that are just having fun on American servers, and you have, you know, kids.
The Russian trolls.
You have kids who, you know, 16-year-olds who aren't even voting yet, you know, supporting Trump for the memes and supporting people or saying just whatever. And it's like our political conversations that are mainly online nowadays are just completely just false. You know, everybody's, you know, either posturing for attention. So like there's just so many forms of misinformation, you know what I'm saying? Like, because there's also there's a person that's going to lie to appear more attractive to fans. Like that person is misinformationing in a disgusting way as well. Misinformationing.
Yeah, and there are a lot of good people who do this too. I mean, they just fall victim to the same trap, right? Like they believe that this information is true, and you know, they think that reading it online is enough, and they post it, and then their friends read it, and they believe it. And
Oh yeah, I mean,
like this isn't all, you know, we say the Russian trolls thing, I mean, Russian bots and misinformation and all that, but in
It's a small
reality,
part of
like that, yeah, that's a very small part of it. More of it is, you know, one person makes up a fake story, you know, gets it a little bit of retweet action, gets it out there, and then it just spreads like wildfire. And
you can't go back and find who originally posted it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
But yeah, and I say this every time one of these stories comes up. News that is false, news that is misleading, spreads 6 times faster than true stories. 6 times faster. And we talked a lot about social media a couple podcasts ago and everything. So there's a lot of issues with that. It's going to have a massive effect on this election. And we'll see it. We'll see it break down, and we'll probably report on that to you after the election too, as it becomes clearer what the impact was. But speaking of impacts,
well, I don't think that's as good of a transition, but yeah, that's
Our
out of the
segues were
electoral.
going so well.
they were going so well this episode.
That's enough for the electoral politics for a few minutes, but we'll be back. We'll be back to it.
I'd say
But
a week.
we've got, you know, a few of the most, you know, disgusting cases happening in our country right this second. People sitting in jail waiting for criminal charges on murders they committed, and I'm specifically talking about the murderers who killed George Floyd in was that St. Louis? Minneapolis? Yeah, Minneapolis. Derek Chauvin, the main one, the officer who was actually training the other officers that day. Yo, you didn't know that? You didn't hear about that? Yeah.
This was a ride-along training?
This was
Yeah.
like 3 of those. I don't know if it was 3 or 2 of those guys. It was like their first day on training. So I do truly believe that Derek Chauvin is the most responsible for the deaths.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was his knee.
It was his knee.
Yeah.
Great training, my guy. But this specific story revolves around the dismissal of one of his charges. So as people may know, he was charged with 3rd-degree murder, and then it was leveled up to 2nd-degree murder.
Unintentional second-degree murder.
Unintentional second-degree murder, and then manslaughter. So
Second-degree manslaughter.
2nd-degree manslaughter, so it was just 2 charges.
Yeah. So now they dropped the 3rd-degree murder.
And 3rd-degree was the one that I was thinking was the most likely to actually stick because it's unintentional, unplanned.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the thing about law and the wording of law, which we'll come back to, is that it has to be specifically unplanned and unintentional. And I think it's easier to prove that he didn't intend to kill him when he put his knee on his neck. He didn't go out planning to kill anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not manslaughter because he did enforce violence on the man. But somehow the judge decides to dismiss the charge that I believe is the most accurate to what actually happened. And second degree manslaughter is like unplanned but intentional, right?
Yeah.
So it's harder to improve that he intended to end a life.
But it says here that he's going to be tried on one count of unintentional second-degree murder. So I think really what it means is that he was aware of the danger of what he was doing, and he was aware of the fact that he was dying
and then
continued to do it.
Yeah.
Which is harder to prove, and you're absolutely right. It's harder to prove in the court of law because think about it. I can't even, like, in an argument with my girlfriend, prove what the intention of what she was saying was. So how are they going to prove, like, in the court of law what his, that he knew that this was going to, like, kill him? Like, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking this is heading for a LA 94 situation here.
Looking like he might be acquitted.
Yeah.
And, Amy Coney Barrett actually has some stuff to say about, the wording of law and the text. So we're going to get more into the theory behind some of that stuff. So let it sit for now.
Yeah, so we get on the first bite then?
That was the first bite. That was a massive bite. Hopefully you got it down. Hopefully you swallowed.
What was that? So we're going to get into our new segment, which is the questions for the boys, questioning the boys, or question the boys. I don't know. We haven't really figured that out yet. We're gonna. In fact, in the comments section down below, say what you think that this section should be called.
Hannah O'Brien, tell us what you think that your section should be called.
Yeah, Hannah O'Brien, who is the exclusive responder to this little experiment that we ran.
Call to
Shout
arms.
out.
We appreciate you, Hannah.
Shout out.
If you put in your Instagram tag next time, we'll shoot some followers your way. But
We're not doing that.
yes, we are.
Might do that.
Hashtag clout chasing.
So she says, I sat through to the end, and you guys are class acts for your response to the Trump diagnosis. Thank you very much. We know. I have two questions. Considering how quickly Trump has rebounded and less than 10 days after he tested positive is back on the campaign trail, do you think that he's actually healthy? / were you suspicious of the news as it was coming out? So let's talk about that first. She has two more questions, really. But she has another question in that segment. As an answer to that, Hannah, I was very suspicious. I know that
suspicious today.
I know. Yeah, I've been suspicious for a long time. I've suspicious for 5 years now, but suspicious about this in particular, I was. Yes. Do I think he's actually healthy? No. I don't think he was healthy before he caught COVID. But yeah, I think more likely than anything, he rushed it so that he could get back on the campaign trail because he's worried about these low poll numbers that he's getting. So I think that it was a poor choice. I think that it continues to be a poor choice. He tested negative before the debate tonight. But yeah, I don't love it.
I was going to say, did you see the 60 Minutes segment, the 60 Minutes interview?
I haven't yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
No mask, really close to the interviewer.
Yeah, the less than 2 weeks after diagnosis.
I'm like, that man is contagious. He got COVID, at least one. 1% viral load. It's spreading.
At least one.
One
COVID.
At least, you can't just be out. Cheeked up on a
cheeked up. Also, she says that she's interested in hearing our takes on the VP debate because I found it to be far more coherent and civil than the presidential debate, even if it's just the VPs and not the candidates themselves.
Not coherent.
You mean the presidential debate diet?
Not civil.
My presidential debate diet is Modelo's, my friend.
I hated it all.
Modelo's and sadness. But yeah, so in response to that, I mean, we talked a little bit about the VP debate in the last episode.
Hated it.
I didn't like it. I have seen it since then. It was all right. At least they weren't like children, you know. But it wasn't a good debate, you know. It wasn't any better than anything I've seen. So like, it was certainly better than the presidential debate.
Kamala gained points, I would say.
Yeah,
she gained favor and favorability.
Yeah, but I think Pence did too. I think Pence had a good performance.
People probably didn't know that Pence like had like political swag, you know?
And debate skill and shit.
Yeah,
They were underestimating that.
He knows how to spin.
I think I said that on this show before. I was like, I think people are underestimating Pence. I think that they're underestimating his political savviness and shit. I'm pretty sure I said that. You could check me on it. Comment in the comment section down below. Hannah, of course. We're talking exclusively to you right now, Hannah. But yeah, that's our feelings. Her next question, which I think is kind of fun, because we were talking about Keanu Reeves and his star signs and his auras and all that shit. So she wants to know what ours are.
We're
wrong.
We're a good.
So this gentleman right here is a Virgo.
Yeah, this is like a good cast, I would say. You know, we got the Virgo and Aquarius.
I'm an Aquarius, February 13th. Jack Tunney, what are you?
I'm a Cancer into this world.
Yeah, we know. Our auras, we're not so sure. Caroline says that I'm a red purple or green purple.
This guy's red.
She checked it up, or I think it's
Fiery.
red purple, and then she said something purpley about him, but I don't know. And we don't know Jack Tunney's. I'm gonna assume he's like green. You seem like a green fellow.
The thing about
I don't even know what that means.
the funny thing about a Virgo and Aquarius is that we're both intellectual debate types.
Yep. I don't know what that means either, but it's good for us, I think. I think we run well. I don't believe in a lot of that nonsense. I think the only thing it's good for is making conversation with beautiful women.
Okay, well, don't spill the game. All right.
You're outed, Brandon.
Outed. My auras, baby. I'm purple, baby.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Also, Hannah, I wanted to say that you've replaced my mom as our #1 fan. Congratulations. But yeah, let's get into the sandwich here, Brandon. Oh, I wanted to say before we end that segment, guys. So the point of that segment is you guys ask us questions in the comments, and we respond to them, and they could be anything. They could be policy-driven, like her first 2 questions were. They can be about our star signs and our auras, like her last question was. They could be anything. You could ask us about, you know, the last good date that we went on. We don't care. We're trying to have conversations with you guys.
And it could be a question for all of us.
All of it. For
or
Jack
a
Tunney.
specific question.
Specifically Jack Tunney. Ask Jack Tunney specific questions.
It's either for all 3 or just me.
Yeah. But it can be specific too. Yeah. But yeah, let's get into the sandwich. Brandon.
It's been a wild couple of weeks, man. You ever think that things are going to progress and you're going to get that win and you're going to be like, yes, got you, Mitch McConnell.
Nope. Never thought it. Never even believed it for a second.
I thought it. I got my hopes up a few times, actually. I was like, they're going to pass it. They're going to do it. They're talking.
Nope.
Trump said, go big or go home. Doesn't that mean they'll do it?
I'll talk about that too.
Yeah, get into it.
Trump said some shit. But yeah, so we're going to talk about the stimulus package shortly because we did a lot of coverage on this.
Shortly.
This last week, the Senate failed at passing 2 different $500 billion stimulus packages. One was a skinny bill, and the other was a standalone bill. And that has forced them back to the negotiation table with Hill Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. Pelosi says that they are close with a deal with the Republicans, Steve Mnuchin, all that. Trump says that if he gets a deal that he likes, which is unlikely, I will remind you, he will push Republicans to pass it. He says on Fox News last Saturday, "We'll take care of that problem in 2 minutes. It'll be passed, it'll be through, it'll be done."
800 minutes later.
Yeah. a full year later.
What a wonderful thing to dangle. Just to dangle in front of the American people. It's like, it could take us 2 minutes, but, you know.
We can't do it.
We can't.
Yeah. And I would like to remind everyone that economists of the highest governmental positions, such as Lael Brainerd, who is a chair on the FEC or something like that.
I saw that name recently. Isn't Biden like looking at that person for?
Yeah, Treasury Secretary.
Saw that name.
Yeah.
No opinions yet.
But that's too little support he says that too little support would lead to a slower and weaker recovery. So this is time sensitive, as it has always been. Americans are in trouble right now.
And that's, like
Right now.
that's like an establishment person. That's not, that's not some Bernie guy. That's not
Yeah.
some crazy leftist.
Yeah, that's
So-
a bureaucrat. Like
Yeah.
he knows what he's talking about. He's been working the economy a long time. Like if we don't handle this, we're gonna be looking at a recession much like 2008. I would say even worse. Even worse.
Because after a certain point, we're kind of. Well, I'll get back to this because I was gonna say that Mark Cuban also is coming out in favor of
God.
stimulus.
Mark Cuban.
These are super billionaires. These are people that finesse the taxes like that's their life. And so the fact that they're coming out in support of any stimulus that's actually going to be reliable is important. And, with the political standstill that we're seeing, it's scary to consider that we might not get any stimulus after the election. What if we just have to wait till Biden's in office? We got to wait till we have a new Senate.
Trump is going to use the lame duck Congress at the very least to
We've
get
been saying
Coney.
at the very least for a while, though. We've been saying, no, he'll have to.
He'll have to. He has to. If he loses the election, he'll run the lame duck. For sure.
But why
For
does
sure.
running the lame duck doesn't have to include giving trillions to the people like that?
I guess not. But yeah,
You know?
I'm saying that if he opens the lame duck, there's a lot of possibilities there. That's all I'm saying. But I wouldn't be hopeful. I wouldn't be hopeful now. I wouldn't even be hopeful at the beginning of next year for anything like this.
We could seriously be waiting until a Biden administration.
And I think the other thing, too, is that it really hasn't ever been more clear that the Republicans would rather focus on, filling court nominations, specifically the Supreme Court nomination, the Ginsburg vacancy, and secure 40 to 50 years of, conservative supremacy on the highest court of the land. And, they would rather do that. They would rather do that, assert their supremacy, than help people who are in trouble right now, help the people in this country get through this pandemic-caused recession. And I mean, I don't really know what else there is to say about that. It's just we've been saying it the whole time that we've been doing this show. These Republicans care more about the small petty things than they do about the American people, and
they're
just a
actually
fact.
saying it. I'm pretty sure I heard Mitch McConnell say that they were going to focus on the nomination instead of stimulus.
Why would they focus on the stimulus, which they think is a political loser for them anyway?
Yeah,
and not do this perfectly good nomination that they have,
we could kind of get into the strategy a
mouth is so
touch.
dry.
I'll get into the strategy just a touch because people are mad at Nancy Pelosi because she is, putting up her boundaries, I guess, or
Well, yeah, she knows what the American people need, I mean, I think that she's being a little too overzealous with it. Probably just compromise, get a deal. But the Republicans aren't trying to compromise.
I think
they're saying, we're saying $2 trillion, and they're saying $500 billion. How is that a compromise?
But then you've also got Republicans who are against the $500 billion.
Yeah, you have Republicans who are against stimulus in general.
Exactly. So there are, people this is my idea. I've seen people saying this, that Nancy Pelosi needs to compromise to any deal so that she can put the ball in the Republican court, and they have to now be the ones who are rejecting the deal. Because Democrats are truly in favor of any level of stimulus, but we want the whole package at once because we know y'all are going to, try to mess around next time.
Yeah, you're going to say, oh, we did it. Wash your hands.
Yeah, so strategists are thinking that if Nancy Pelosi agrees to whatever, deal or else they give us, that when the deal gets to them and Republicans aren't ready to vote for it, that it'll really hurt them instead of hurting Democrats. Because
or if we send them a bill, right, and then they vote on the nomination first or something.
Which they've already done. I mean,
Yeah.
the House passed the bill in July.
Yeah.
So, and they could, edit that bill down if they wanted to, but obviously they're really just not working on it. That's what I've learned. They're really just kind of barely working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what they are working?
They're working on that. They're working on that ACB.
Yeah.
That BCA. that A-hole. ACB.
I don't know if she's an a-hole. She seems all right.
Carrot Barrett. Airy Carrie Berry.
She's missing one A in her name for it to be a cab.
Hey, nice. I like that. But yeah, so over the last few weeks, we've been watching the confirmation hearings for Coney Barrett, where people have been, an interview. I guess it's called an interview, but if I ever interviewed like that, I would not get the job. Not answering anything,
Obfuscating.
Having a concerned face the entire time.
Oh my goodness, dude. She's like if I worked at a shoe store, so they're like, if someone tried to steal shoes, what would you react with? I think that's interesting, but I'm actually not allowed to talk about hypothetical situations. So I can't tell you what I would do if someone's stealing shoes because it's hypothetical.
What would you do if somebody was stealing shoes, Brandon?
I'm letting them run out. I'm not sweating. You think I'm gonna start sweating at work?
Nah, but if he runs if he's running from behind me and then runs past me, I might stick the foot out. I'll trip him a little bit.
I've seen people steal shoes. I've seen.
Said I'm not sweating at work.
I'm not about to go chase.
He's
somebody.
not sweating at work.
They could be.
Oh my God.
If they're at a point in their life where they're like, yep, I'm gonna walk into this shoe palace and steal shoes.
They needed it.
Yeah, I don't want to scrap because
shoes was $30.
that guy's desperate, man.
Yeah, why would you scrap? I worked at a grocery store for a while, and you're
different.
We don't. No. We don't want to talk about.
They're walking out with full liquor bottles. Sometimes you're looking over and they got it in their fucking jacket or whatever.
40 pack of apples.
And you call it out. You're like, hey, so is that Smirnoff in there or what? What's going on? And they're always like, and then they run. And you don't chase them. It's just a fucking bottle of liquor. Grocery stores actually operate at a loss. Like they know that people are going to steal from them, so they put that in their operational cost.
Yeah,
crazy shit.
So let's watch Coney Barrett.
Coney.
Amy.
Just call her ACB. I don't mind that.
Let's watch her sweat. Let's watch her panic in reaction to this first question.
Mr. Grassley.
No, this is just the beginning.
It would be inconsistent with judicial independence.
Feinstein.
Do you agree with Justice Scalia's view that Roe was wrongly decided?
Roe v. Wade.
So, Senator, I do want to be forthright and answer every question so far as I can.
I would love to answer your question.
I think on that question,
on that question
I'm going to invoke Justice Kagan's description, which I think is perfectly put. When she was in her confirmation hearing, she said that she was not going to grade precedent or give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And I think in an area where precedent continues to be pressed and litigated, as is true of Casey, it would be particularly, it would actually be wrong and a violation of the canons for me to do that as a sitting judge.
What are the canons?
So if I express a view on a precedent one way or another, whether I say I love it or I hate it, it signals
No, keep going.
to litigants that I might tilt one way or another in a pending case.
Tell me why textualism.
So, very wordy answer, but
Nothing there, though.
nothing there.
Nothing there.
She basically used the precedent of judges being impartial judges, because judges really shouldn't be saying, whenever I get this case, I'm going to do it. She's using that idea to just hide her personal opinions, because that's really all the hearing is trying to figure out and all the questions are trying to figure out.
Yeah, she didn't say, would you vote yes on a repeal of Roe v. Wade? That's not what she said. She said, do you agree with this other justice's opinion of Roe? Which, she should very well be able to answer, because the fact of the matter is judges' opinions aren't really, necessarily what they're going to choose when they do the case. And there are plenty of judges who have all sorts of opinions about things that they decide based on the law, right? Because they're not actually litigators. They don't make the law. They don't get to decide, where the law has effect. All they have to decide is, does this law apply in this particular situation?
That's the perfect point, because that's what Mike Lee actually asked about, because Mike Lee is going to get into, because I agree. One judge is not, even if one judge had, personalities, had a bias, that one judge is not going to overpower the 9-judge result. So I think it's okay if you're saying, I do think abortion is wrong, but it can be protected under this, or it can be, disproven under this clause or whatever. Make that argument as a judge. That's what we want to see in the hearing. We don't want to see what she did. So Mike Lee is going to kind of attack that same point, asking how originalists like
And this is a Republican.
Yeah, this is a Republican. And I think it's funny because he is the same kind of guy who I think is falling under this kind of problem of special interests and how, special interests who influence judges and influence legislators, that is a much more important bias than just their like beliefs or religion or whatever. Like if you're getting paid by oil companies and drug companies. Mm-hmm. And so play that and you'll kind of see what I'm trying to say.
And originalism are important to you?
Because I think that
question.
both might tilt one way or another in a pending case.
Is that the whole question?
Tell me why textualism and originalism are important to you.
As in the text of the Constitution.
Because I think that both statutes and the Constitution are law.
Bruh.
They derive their democratic legitimacy from the fact that they have been enacted in the case of statutes by the people's representatives,
Pause.
or in the
Wrong.
Democracy.
Red.
The democracy is solidified or
Excuse me.
confirmed by because it was enacted by the people's representatives.
Mm-hmm.
She's defending democracy as it's what's the phrase? When you define something and the definition is in the definition. Mm-hmm. It's like people's representatives decided democracy, which makes it legitimate. Mm-hmm. Not realizing that there's a lot more steps and how there's a lot more processes to establishing democracy, such as
Yeah, I feel like she
war
missed
and
the
power.
like it's like a dinger.
Well,
it's like the one answer you give when you get that question. It's like, yeah, the people give the representatives power so the Constitution can stay. It's the people that give it the power. Like, how do you miss that?
Yeah, I think this is really a judge's answer, right? Like
Yes.
like a senator would have answered this question very differently. A president would have answered this question very differently. Like she's saying this because she truly believes that the justice system is what is keeping democracy afloat, right?
It's above the
Yeah. Well, no, I think she thinks it's below. I think she thinks it's the foundation of the whole thing, that we have a just system, that we have a functioning system, that we get these statutes into law, and then that people are able, judges and jurors and DAs or whatever, are able to use that law to effectively protect Americans. I think that's kind of where her answer is. I hear your point. I actually agree with you. I'm just saying, like, playing devil's advocate here. I think this is a very general judge's response to a question like that.
Could I ask you a history question, Pete?
Yes.
I just want to make sure that if I say this incorrectly, it can be quickly fixed. Mm-hmm. If I remember things correctly, which hopefully they are, the judicial branch of the government didn't come in until after. It was the third.
It's the third article of
the
the
third article of the
Constitution.
Constitution.
Yeah, and it was actually decided upon later in the Constitutional Congress or Congress.
Oh, what did they call that one?
Constitutional.
bruh
I totally know.
convention.
Yeah,
Does it
Constitutional
fucking
Convention.
matter?
Convention.
It does matter.
It does.
My point with this clip is that she does not understand the grand masterpiece that is democracy. It is not one piece. Mm-hmm. Representatives have decided and enacted, so therefore equals democracy. No, there's ideology, there's dreams, there's civil society, there is the free market as just an existing thing, and how some people are winners and some people are losers. Those representatives that built the Constitution were not the people. It was landowning whites and very specific people, not even all landowning whites. Like, yeah. I don't know how the voting worked for the Constitutional Convention, but it wasn't like, I'm glad you brought that up, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, here you were talking
here
shit
I am
on me.
Bringing it back up. But
there's no better way to talk about the United States government than tearing it apart from the toes to the ankles to the legs, and then you get to what it is, the head.
Were those like representatives who were voted in? You know?
Yeah, they were elected by their states to go represent people at the people at the constitutional convention.
It was their colonies. Pretty
And
much,
this is
at
the
the
point
time.
I'm trying to attack.
Yeah, well, they were
as-
called
as
states at that point
we
because
wanted
the
to-
Article
yeah.
of Confederations had been in action for 10 years.
But no one really thinks
11
about
years?
that one.
Yeah,
the
but they were
point.
already called states, is my point.
I'm trying to attack about Amy Coney Barrett. I don't really know about, her religious stances about abortion and, gay marriage, that kind of thing. But her originalist textual analysis of the Constitution is a failure because the Constitution, does not account for all those intricacies.
Well, the Constitution was
Bruh.
built with the intention of being malleable
Exactly.
to fit the time.
Exactly.
It was written with imprecise language for that very reason.
Yeah. This next clip is from Chris Coons, who is also asking
What's up, Chris Coons?
Amy Coney Barrett a question. I think this is a great definition of the originalist philosophy. So if anybody's still confused, this is it right here. And then I'm going to really just break down what I got from this and why this is so important
Barrier.
to the future of
I have never been more
our country. It's bigger than just, the Supreme Court.
My apologies, Brandon. Here we go.
proud of a nominee than I am of you.
Chris
I'm
Coons.
Judge Barrett, in accepting President
Defining
Trump's nomination to the Supreme Court, you stated you share the judicial philosophy of Justice Scalia, your mentor, the justice for whom you clerked. His philosophy is, of
Her
course,
mentor.
originalism.
I don't mind
Essentially,
Scalia.
the idea that the authoritative meaning of the Constitution is what it meant when ratified, whether that was 150 years ago, 240 years ago, but meant when ratified.
Meant when
And I think
ratified.
the American people need to better understand what that originalist philosophy could really mean for their everyday lives, because I think it means our entire modern understanding of certain constitutional commitments around liberty, privacy, and equality under the law could in fact be rolled back to 19th or even 18th century understandings in a way unrecognizable to most Americans. Many of these modern notions are
gonna use
rooted
an
in a
example
landmark
case.
case decided in 1965, Griswold versus Connecticut, where the
I
Supreme
know
Court
that
held
case.
married couples have the right to use contraceptives in the privacy of their own home. In an interview just 8 years ago in 2012 on Fox News, Justice Scalia said this decision was wrong because under his originalist philosophy, there's no such thing as a general right to privacy in the Constitution. This is a question most currently
You see what's
serving
wrong here?
justices have answered. When we spoke on the phone last week, you said you couldn't think of any specific issue of law where you disagreed with Justice Scalia.
Watch how she's going to avoid
Do
this
you
question.
agree with him that
Perfect
Griswold
avoid
was
incoming.
wrongly decided?
What a great
and
question,
thus he
too.
should be able
Yeah,
to make
perfect
it
question.
illegal to use contraceptives if they so chose.
I didn't like him at first.
Well,
before this.
Senator,
Avoid.
as I've
Why does she
said a
touch her
number of
face every time
times,
she goes
I
into
can't
this?
express a view, yes
Avoid.
or no, A plus or
More
F.
avoid incoming.
My other capacity, I get to
Double
grade,
down on the
but
avoid.
not in this particular capacity with respect to precedent.
Wait.
I think that
Here we go.
Griswold is very, 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 very unlikely to go anywhere. In order for Griswold to be overruled, you or a state legislature would have to pass a law prohibiting
I like
the
how
use of
shaky
birth
his
control,
camera
which
angle is right
seems,
now, though.
shockingly unlikely.
Right.
And then a lower court would have to buck Supreme Court precedent and say, we're not following Griswold. Again, seems very
I really
unlikely.
think it's an academic question.
So I think that it's an academic question
Oh,
that
my
wouldn't
God.
arise.
It's,
but
yes, it is.
something that I can't opine
I need to
on,
know from my education.
particularly because it does lie at the base of substantive due process.
Hold on,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got to do a
can pause it
producer
there.
stop real quick.
That's fine.
Don't you need to be an intellectual to be in charge of law?
Hey.
Shouldn't you be? I will restate
Shouldn't you
that.
be answering educational questions?
Shouldn't you
Yeah, we need to know.
Academic
Shouldn't
questions?
you academically answer educated questions?
Because, I mean, the question was, how do you feel about the general theory of this precedent? You know?
Yeah, so let's think
explain
about
that
it
a little more if you know more
Let-
details.
yeah, let's think about that realistically, right? So that right to privacy point is super good.
It's a great point.
That's a great point.
It's not written in the Constitution.
It isn't. It's still not there. There's no amendment. I mean, we have the 9th Amendment, which kind of protects us. You know, that's how they were able to pass, or that's how Griswold v. Connecticut was decided, was with 9th Amendment help. The 9th Amendment, of course, being that, you know, there may be other rights that we, haven't enumerated here that, basically, if your rights aren't on this document, it doesn't mean that they don't exist. It means that we just aren't aware of them yet. That's what the Ninth Amendment basically means. The exact text is the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people.
Yeah.
So basically, like, if there is a right that you have, that we're discovering, for instance, right to privacy, other such rights such as this that were not enumerated in the Constitution. This makes sure that the federal government does not have the power to deny you those rights just based on the fact that it isn't in the Constitution right now. So basically, in the case of privacy, which we do have a lot of privacy laws now, governments can't get into our phones thanks to them. Governments can't, at least they're supposed to not surveil us a great deal, but as we discovered with
that was something
the
that
Patriot
had
Act.
to
Patriot Act, yeah.
That was something that had
right
to
under
be
your nose.
Yeah, because it was so well named.
yeah, of course.
Go Bing.
That's something that had to be, passed through legislation, though. A lot of these things. Like,
Yeah.
So the fact that the Supreme Court is getting involved is like a secondary thing. Like the legislators should be, defining these
Well, it's the
rights.
Congress that writes amendments to constitutions, right? It's not the Supreme Court. Like, the Supreme Court gets to decide on them. Sure, they have judicial review, but it's the Congress, it's legislators, So for her to have this belief, and I don't have a lot of problem with this belief, like, in and of itself, but you carry this belief to its extreme,
it goes bad, man. And when you carry it with, just the spiraling power of the Supreme Court, especially under, what I would say is like a lazy Congress and a lazy executive. We saw her try really hard to not, she was using all these legal words and all these roundabout ways of answering questions to avoid, explaining her position, but
yeah, she's just trying not to hurt anybody's feelings. That's her goal right now.
Yeah, but that's exactly what our Congress people do too. They would defend, what was it, contraceptives or whatever. They for example, just since it's there, they could have written into law something that defended the people and gave funding or something, just protections. But then the Democrats or the Republicans would have had to come out in favor of abortions or sex or whatever the details are. I don't know the exact details. I'm against sex. Imagine someone comes out and
Quote
says
that. Put that on the wall.
Clip it. Put it on a button.
I'm against sex. Brandon Blackman, 2020. What's the date? October
I'm against
22nd.
So our Congress is basically afraid to take a stance because they know it would look bad on their record. And they would push for more leftist, or if you're on the right, they would push for more extreme right policies. But they know that they would lose their cover of moderation, their cover of being a moderate.
And you think that this thing is happening to the judicial branch?
We know it's happening.
Yeah.
We've seen, like, it's happening now.
Yeah.
I want our viewers to question, why do you think the ACA is being handled in the Supreme Court instead of in the legislation in the budget halls? Why do you think DACA was handled in the courts instead of in the legislation halls with money?
I bet this
to protect
election
those
will be
students?
decided at the Supreme Court too.
Why is the election being decided there? Why is gay marriage being decided there? Why is abortion rights being protected there?
Attacked. Yeah.
Handled there, but attacked and dismantled usually, and it's because Republicans routinely, but it's usually just the elite and the powerful. They use this unelected, untouchable, unaccountable. Once Amy Coney Barrett's there, which it looks like she's going to be there. I don't even think ruminating over if or if not she's passed is worth it, because I do believe it's going very fast. Steamroll.
It feels like Kavanaugh, just without a sexual allegation.
Yeah, can I talk about Kavanaugh real quick?
No.
I mean, you have 30 seconds. I'm giving you 30
30 seconds?
You can have 30 seconds.
Yeah, so what you're talking about right now was decided, set in stone by the Kavanaugh hearing. We had a man who on live television yelled about the fact that He never raped anyone, even though we had just watched 3 hours of testimony from a very credible, very ethical woman
And she, I mean, he
who
was
came
saying-
out onto the national stage
Yeah.
to talk about something that is the most painful thing that could happen to a person.
Ruined her life. For a few
Ruined
months.
her life.
Yeah, for real.
And he's on the court. He's deciding cases right now. So if anything proves your point, it's that. It's that a woman of a distinguished woman, an educated woman could go up in front of a credible woman could go up in front of Congress and say that something is true, and then that person still gets put on the Supreme Court.
Yeah. But then you think about what the actual Supreme Court is built to do, man. It's not like they're just out there, yes or no, up or down, we'll get rid of it. They are transcribing the Constitution into our daily lives. So whatever they think is now what you think. So when she was talking about democracy is established and enforced by the representatives, and that's why it's just. We now have a 6-3 Supreme Court that does not represent what the country looks like.
It will probably be that way for a long time.
Unless it's packed or anything like that. So we now have a Supreme Court, this totalitarian, omnipresent, because their rulings affect all federal courts, all local courts. So this is a serious deal, especially because we're used to seeing a judiciary branch that is leaning liberal or leaning conservative, 5-4, 5-4. No big deal. We'll be able to talk it out.
I don't even know when the last time it was this much of an advantage.
And even during these lean moments, we as in progressives have been left out of that conversation completely. And what it really shows me is that the Supreme Court is, if I had to put it on a scale from the House, the Senate to the Supreme Court and how much they represent the people, the Supreme Court is far, far and away the most unrepresentative, unaccountable, untouchable branch of our government, and these people will be there for decades. They're not gonna.
Oh my God.
They're not gonna come in and out. They're gonna be there for decades. And
the last time that it was like this was also a conservative majority, 6-3.
Does that say
1931?
Does that say FDR right there?
Yes.
And that's when he was like, "No, I'm stacking it."
What's that, prime depression age right there?
Yeah, that's the Great Depression when nothing was being passed in Congress, no support for the American people. That's what I'm talking about.
Peter, could you believe it?
Could you believe at the beginning of the most incredible financial crisis of all time?
No.
There was a stacked 6-3 court.
Can you believe the fact that if any history teacher you've ever had told you history repeats itself unless we learn about it right now, and you remember how we laughed about it?
Well, I don't think history repeats itself. I think it rhymes.
It rhymes, but this is barely half a beat off.
This is one of them AA rhymes.
Yeah, this is one of them.
Like we are almost
this is like
fresh into a depression never before seen.
Yeah.
We're technically getting out of war, technically, but we're still in it. And then now you have the Republican Party pushing to do things so they can stop any aid being given to the American people. So people are going to have to wait in really long lines. Going to have to get bread.
Homelessness.
And homelessness is just going to skyrocket again. We're going to have bread lines again.
Yeah, but this is terrible.
What are they going to talk about?
And I'm just gonna close this out with bringing it back to her beliefs, which originalist philosophy.
Framers' intent.
Does the Constitution say anything about stimulus?
Hell
Stimulus
no.
is unconstitutional. They don't have the right to.
The
give out
Constitution
trillions of
also
dollars.
doesn't once mention the word woman.
Wow. I guess women are unconstitutional. That's why.
Yeah,
So-
even the amendment that allows them the right to vote, all it says is that like it shall not discriminate on the basis of sex. It
I
doesn't
want
even
this
say
to be the
women can
talking
vote.
point. The Supreme Court is upholding the Constitution, which was built by the elites, by the powerful, to not include certain people. That same system is still being upheld today by the same philosophy of by the words and how it was meant when it was ratified, That philosophy encourages white supremacy. It encourages sexism, and it encourages all of the inequalities that are inherent in the Constitution. So to say that you love the Constitution in the words that they are, in the way it was written, that is insane. The Constitution was built to be changed, not to be followed by the book, by the word, for the rest of time. And Amy Coney Barrett will be following the book and the word to the rest of time. And that is why she's bad. Not, the sexism and the abortionism. What the fuck? That is a secondary cultural issue. We need to attack the processes that's, failing the Supreme Court. And maybe the Supreme Court could be voted on. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I don't like that.
I like a split. Keep it fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they probably should still be nominated, but I think
It's strange.
I think that
It's such a
for
strange-
sure, no political ideology should carry a supermajority
Well,
in the
here's-
highest court of the land.
I was going to talk about judicial review, and there's a lot to get into there because judicial review, that's not in the Constitution.
Nope.
And now that's the main now it's the main.
Oh, wait, maybe it is.
No, it's not. Remember Marbury versus Madison? That's where it comes from. And I finally figured out the actual significance of that. Because it wasn't a power of the judiciary to make us constitutional or unconstitutional. The original power of the judiciary was to handle international cases and handle
Like appeal court stuff, right?
interstate.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like the final court.
Yeah.
And this power that was given through the judicial review is totalitarian.
Yeah. Complete control.
It is.
Yeah. And now conservatives hold it.
And that's the end of my section on Amy Coney Barrett.
Thank you very much. That was very informational.
It's a little different, I would say.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about the elections real quick, just because I think the Senate could flip Democrat, which would be.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's get fucking hyped. Biden in the Senate? Biden in the Senate? Oh wait, no, he's
Kamala in the Senate, dude. She's gonna.
calm. Let's go calm.
Wrong. You've been there for 47 years.
I've been there.
You've been there for 47 years, and I've only been in 47 months, and I've done way more than you.
Did you say Kamala? Sounds like Kamala.
Obviously,
Kamala.
Biden, obviously, you don't understand how the government works. I've been here 47 months. I've done so much in comparison to 47 years. What is
No one
What is that,
likes
like
black
three-
people more than me.
that? We can't
No
get
one
on this.
is
We need to
liked
stop.
by black people more than me.
Nobody likes the.
Oh.
All right.
Everyone on the PB&J podcast is PC friendly.
No, we're not.
Timestamp.
No, we're not. We are not PC
Timestamp.
friendly.
What's the time?
I got a dirty shirt on.
But yeah, I'm going to be talking about the Senate elections. So we got a couple key races in here. We're looking at the current polling, and that seems to suggest, as we got hyped before, that the Democrats are favored to win back the Senate. They need to win 4 seats, okay? On net, they need to win 4 seats and not lose any.
Hey, wait. What about independents? Like
What
Bernie.
do you mean?
Isn't
Bernie's not up for election this year.
I mean,
He was up in the
but aren't there like 47 Democrats, 51 Republicans, and then like 3 or 2 independents, right?
They caucus with the Democrats, so they're basically Democrats. The Independents caucus with the Democrats.
But what I'm saying isn't it really only like 2 seats or 3 seats?
No, they need to win 4
All right.
to get a majority.
I'm just thinking about the independent. Continue.
Yeah, so they need to win 4 races.
It's possible.
Yeah, the key races in this election are Arizona, which is McSally versus Kelly.
Going down.
Maine, where Sarah Gideon seems likely to defeat the moderate Republican Susan Collins, who has been the bane of all Democrats' existence since the beginning of the Trump administration. Iowa, which is Ernst versus Greenfield. North Carolina, Tillis versus Cunningham. South Carolina, Lindsey Graham versus Jamie Harrison. And Kentucky, Mitch McConnell versus, what's her name? McGrath? I should know this.
Yeah.
Something McGrath.
Amy
McGrath. So yeah, as I said, need 4 seats. The 4 seats that they are most likely to win are Arizona, North Carolina, Colorado, and Maine. So that's fun. They have ambitious, though unlikely, goals of turning Alaska, Kansas, and South Carolina Democrat.
That South Carolina race is interesting.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I mean, it's been so fun watching the Republicans just, die on the hill next to Trump.
Yeah.
Trump is pulling these people all the way out of their comfort zone, and they are not making it.
No, they're really not. They're really not.
Oh man, I wish I could pull up this clip somehow, but there's a recent video of Joni Ernst from Iowa in a debate, and it's like, oh, you gotta tell us the price of corn or price of soybean in our neighborhood. If you're such a farmer, tell us the price of soybeans. And she totally failed the question and totally was awkward, and then tried to avoid the question, and then the interviewer asked it again, and she was super awkward.
Fuck.
She failed that question. So that was so exciting to watch.
I should say, though, that if the Democrats win the White House, if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris win the presidential campaign, they only need 3, because then that will be a straight 50-50 tie in the Senate. And if it's a 50-50 tie in the Senate, Harris can break any ties as the vice president. That's one of her duties, is to break ties that happen in the Senate with the 50-50 vote. So theoretically, if Biden wins the presidential election, we only need 3 for the Senate to become Democratic. That's funny, the Senate to become Democratic.
When's the last time that happened?
A Democrat Senate? Yeah,
Obama.
2008 under Obama.
Yeah. I mean, it's just insane because so many of these progressive ideals, it seems like we're not getting anything done, but it's the House. The House has been doing stuff and getting
They're passing bills like nobody's business.
Yeah, I mean, $15 minimum wage passed a few years ago in the House. I remember that.
Uh-huh.
And Mitch McConnell
Sitting on it. Republicans
sitting on it because they don't even want to talk about it. Like we were saying earlier, they don't want to have their names on paper saying no stimulus. They don't want to have their name on paper saying no to Trump sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So they hide and they lie and they scheme. And
as you would.
It's been really fun just see all of them crash and burn. You got Lindsey Graham going on Fox News saying, "Please help, please give me money, please help. They're killing me. They're killing me, Hannity. Please help, please.
Please help me, Sean Hannity."
Please. Actual quote.
But yeah, so kind of the final point that I wanted to make on this is that turnout is key. As we know, Democrats tend to do better in elections with higher turnouts. Obama, 2008. Clinton, 1992.
Clinton, 2016.
Yeah. No, our turnout was low in 16.
I know. I was like, what are you
So if it is true, and I believe that it is, that the current resolve of the American people is to remove Donald Trump from office, we may see the Senate races being decided on the coattails of this stream of new, inspired, and determined voters. And I think...
and they're new and inspired voters. You sound like Obama for a second.
Let me be clear.
Let me be clear.
These new
Don't
voters
twist it.
The youth.
are
the youth is pushing us to be more
new
progressive.
and inspired and determined.
It's pretty good.
That's hope and change.
Say something about how the youth are the ones pushing the older people to be more progressive, and it wouldn't be possible.
The youth are pushing their elders to be more progressive. we would not have the progressive legislation that we have today if it were not for.
And your future is.
But yeah, let me
he's killing
let me
it. just
say at the end of our sandwich here, this is your weekly reminder to vote. You have a couple weeks left here in California to get your mail-in ballot in. In California as well, we have 4 election days. I know this because I'm working all 4 of them. Please protect me.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Many religious references today. But yeah, so there will be voting on the 31st. That's Halloween. On November 1st, on November 2nd, and November 3rd. That's the big day. November 3rd is election day. And California is going to be counting the mail-in ballots as long as they were postmarked on the election until the 20th of November. So you'll be safe if you send that in. Don't worry about it. Just make sure that you vote and vote for Joe Biden, baby.
I'm gonna say
it's what all the kill kids are doing.
Vote for yourself. Don't just take. It's very easy to just be like, oh, I'll vote against the Republicans. I'll vote against the Democrats, and then not really do the research. But if you look into, and this is against Republicans, don't think I'm going crazy right now.
I know you're not.
If you look into the videos of Lindsey Graham, Joni Ernst, who else? I mean, Mitch McConnell with his zombie hands.
Lizard. What'd you say today?
He got freaking lizard, freaking eczema, freaking.
Nah, dude, he's got those.
Josh Peck hands.
Those heads are disgusting.
He's got that gecko head.
Oh, dude.
Gecko
No,
head.
he always reminds me of a tortoise.
No, it's
that's
it's a
John.
tortoise.
That's that John Stewart.
It's that tortoise smile.
Yeah, the John Stewart impression of Mitch McConnell was always like the best in my opinion. It was just him like kind of with his head back like this, and he would. I just want to say that.
The progressives.
And then he would smile.
I'm the Grim
really
Reaper
big.
of bills. I'm the Grim Reaper of bills.
Yeah. No. But yeah, I hope these guys lose their elections.
Oh no, they're so stupid. They
Yeah.
don't know what they're talking about. Joni Ernst not doing the price of soybeans was the biggest.
Graham
I've
needs to
seen.
go. McConnell needs to go. Ernst needs to go.
Tom Tillis too. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Oh, for
He's
sure.
a piece of shit.
For sure. Yeah.
And as we splash these
Susan
silly,
Collins.
these silly individuals with our
Oh
our
God.
milk,
Where is this going? No.
it's a terrible transition.
Yeah, let's do the milk.
I
We're
had a
officially
question.
changing our milk name to UFO segment because every single time that we have done it, we've had a UFO story.
I got a question before
There-
Brandon gets up, please. Brandon,
I can't get up anymore during the
was
show. by the way.
was the Trump ad up?
No,
when-
please play it.
No,
Please
no,
play
no,
it.
no, no, no. I want to ask, was it up when you put the link up?
No, I didn't put it in the links. What do you mean?
No,
That
yeah, just
wasn't-
click on that. I think it'll pull it up.
That's exactly why
Oh,
I
it
want
says
to ask.
video unavailable. This
It
is
was
no longer available to.
copyrighted.
Oh.
No, rip. There goes our first milk story.
Hey yo.
But there was a really funny ad that that the Lincoln Project posted. That was
I'm sure you could find it. That's
you probably
weird.
could find it.
Yeah,
but
keep trying to find it.
it was like a commercial from the 90s, like, and it was like Regeneron, and it was like Trump promoting it and everything. It was so funny.
Hi, it's your neighborhood-friendly president here, and
Friendly neighborhood.
what did he say? Like when I watched it the first time without the edit, like it came on and he just sounded like
This is your president speaking.
your favorite president.
This is your favorite president speaking. I'm here to tell you that we have great therapeutics. Regeneron made me feel so good. I feel better than I even felt before. I feel 10 years younger.
Rudy Giuliani was trying to get 10 years younger in that bed.
Oh, no, that's one story off. We'll get there, but we need to talk about the Pentagon and the UFOs.
Just to tell you, the video is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, they probably took it down.
We're doing an avant-garde podcast today.
So as we know, earlier this year, the Pentagon said that there were what? Is that your shoe?
It's art, Peter.
Okay. So that they were off-world vehicles not made on this Earth.
Yeah, and that's in a Pentagon report from like.
Wait, what were the words before that? They found them. They saw them. What did
They are in possession of
In possession and doing maintenance on
off-world vehicles not made on this earth.
You're fucking with me.
I am not
That's
fucking
a
with you.
Official
This is
disclosure.
Click those links.
This is some tasty milk.
I am not fucking with you.
Yeah, and that's
that is
from
awesome.
official.
Oh, a Huffington Post.
Yeah, just show it on the screen because I don't know exactly what the links are anymore.
It says Harry Reid confirms
Yeah, that's
federal government covered up
Harry
UFOs
Reid was-
for years.
Harry Reid was the
So I remember this video. This video is insane, and this is the video I want anybody who has, who wants to, because
play it. I
I
don't know what
used
video
to
it
be on a logical side,
I used to be
don't
logical.
I would be what I thought was logical, but now if you go into science, it's more logical to believe that there are other things in the universe mathematically. There is a chance.
but also, and this is a point that my good housemate Jordan brought up to me at
Shout
one
out
point.
Jordan.
Shout out Jordan. It is also mathematically improbable that anyone would use the resources to get here.
Yeah, and then that enters a whole nother
So
philosophy.
it counters. So there's the argument that it's mathematically improbable that there isn't other sentient life. It is also mathematically improbable that other sentient life would waste resources just to come and look at us monkeys play in our sewers and stuff.
But isn't it
like-
funny though? If they got to that point in the math,
If they
would
could
just say,
if they
"Let's-"
have a propulsion system, anything like Bob Lazar was talking about in those documentaries that I've seen, for sure they can get here without trouble.
Oh, that's what I'm
Like-
saying. Once it becomes a matter of whether they can or can't,
Yeah.
it's just and they just can. They're just going to do it because
But,
they're just doing the math.
I know
they're
for a
doing it
fact
correctly.
that the fastest man-made object, like literally the fastest object that we have ever made, which was a satellite that we shot into the sun at super high velocity to see what would happen. If we shot that directly at the nearest star, it would take 100,000 years for us to get there.
Damn. Because
So
yeah,
here's what I wanted to tell everyone because the video kind of disappeared. What I was showing.
What?
refresh it.
well,
Yeah,
Try
did your
again.
ad block or something?
I have no
Oh,
idea.
definitely ad
Do you
block.
think it's ad block?
Yeah,
Yeah,
turn off the
for
ad
sure.
block.
It's on the right.
It's on the
kind of
top.
a
No, I know
process.
it's loading. I want to know if it's the ad block.
Oh.
But this video was released by the government. It was a little while ago.
Yeah, U.S. Navy.
It was the U.S. Navy, and I tell you this much: if you had doubts, you need to watch this video because this is Navy footage. This is a fighter pilot. These things go quick, and he sees something on the scope that literally goes quicker than anything that can be man-made.
Turn off the ad block at the top. It's that red.
I know I did.
Okay.
I
No,
turned it off.
turn it off again.
No, click it. You didn't.
You
even
gotta click it. You gotta.
Bruh.
There we go.
What are you talking about?
Did you click anything?
Yeah, he clicked
I
it. It just
did.
didn't show up on the screen.
It just redoes it.
All right, whatever. We don't need to watch the video, but it's.
Oh, maybe it's just,
Harry Reid, former Senate Majority Leader.
Yeah, this is a.
That's
this
not
is
nobody.
Yeah, this is a top guy. And
Historically
he
top
says
guy.
he says that the U.S. government has been hiding key details about UFOs for years.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's probably like a small he probably doesn't have the highest clearance of what's in the building.
yeah,
And he is like, yeah, I know a little bit.
and then also there's a little bit of Trump news in here as always.
Because, of course, we got people who are going to ask Trump.
Yeah, so Trump said that he was going to take I'll take a good, strong look at that when asked by Lou Dobbs. We'll get into that quip a little bit too. But then he also said that he threatened the aliens with a military the likes of which we've never had before.
Thank God.
So we're good because Trump's got our back. Space Force.
Space Force.
yeah. I'm just waiting for the first day of Space Force when they send the first bit of cadets out there, and then we realize that
And then we get
aliens
clobbered.
well, aliens just colonized the dark side of the moon, so they're just like, oh, we were waiting for you guys, but you're weak as shit, so they just like take over Earth.
Yeah. they
Yeah,
should.
I'm not joining Space Force so I could go fight freaking Klingon. Just get ripped apart.
Klingon.
I don't know what that is.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Klingon is an alien race
Oh, that's
from
from Star Trek. Yeah. Yeah, he'll fuck you up.
No, that's Spock, dude.
No, yeah, Klingon will fuck you up.
Is he not Klingon?
No,
Oh,
I wanna see the Lou
my
Dobbs
Star
clip.
Wars is showing.
Play
he's
the
a
Lou
Vulcan.
Dobbs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vulcan. That's what it was.
He's from the planet Vulcan.
Look how-
just to
Which
let
was
everyone know
destroyed.
at home, I do have respect for Star Trek. I will be watching the very first showing of it, like the original, just to get into the spirit of watching the rest of it at some point in my life.
Live
Wait,
long
like
and
the
prosper.
Yeah, because Star Wars is kind of losing itself with the American people. It's kind of hard. And I would know Star Wars. I've done the best.
Many people have told me that Star
I've
Wars.
had the most Star Wars
The ending of the
anybody has
last-
ever had.
Many people told me the ending of Star Wars.
Let's play the Lou Dobbs clip because I think it's fucking hilarious.
Watch them flirt with each other over
Yeah.
UFOs. Oh my God,
Is
no,
that the
you're the
third
top
one?
UFO
No,
guy.
it literally says
Oh.
Lou Dobbs there. Well, it actually says Lou Doobs because Brandon likes making jokes in our outlines.
Dubes, it's a
Oh my God, no, you're the top UFO guy. No, you're the top UFO guy, Mr. President. No,
Yeah, we're on Twitter.
you.
Boy, this is
Jason
zoomed
Campbell.
in.
Why is this so zoomed in?
You're the UFO.
Whatever, it's nice. It's fine. It'll put the video.
Oh, that's because I was showing Peter the hand, Mitch McConnell's nasty fucking hand.
Okay, restart it, and turn up the volume.
Your level best to do that, and you are.
You gotta turn it up.
Administration you promised would be transparent, and you have done your little best to do that.
Your little best.
Despite the deep state's efforts.
The deep state.
Oh, I didn't hear that the first time I heard this clip.
But I've got one question as we conclude here, because actually, a lot of my friends are very concerned.
Many people.
About, what the federal government is doing.
Wrong
when it
friends.
comes to UFOs. So if I could
Shut the fuck
just
up,
ask
Biden.
you, are we going to commit? Are you going to commit more
Take you to
resources
Russia and
to
show you what it means to be
exploring,
corrupt.
I'll show you
UFOs
golden
and
showers in
open
Russia.
Documents to the public.
So he basically asked, would you release the documents to the public?
In this country, you're the UFO expert, so I'm going to be totally guided by the great Lou Dobbs, and I will tell you that I'll do whatever you ask me to do, including total transparency. And I got to tell you, there's probably some pretty good transparency needed there. There's no doubt about that.
Lou Dobbs laughs at the president.
Go ahead and pause it.
Thank you so much, and I'll be calling.
So what we just watched
your
was
office,
the president
to
offering
get that
full
underway.
transparency with Fox host Lou Dobbs,
The great Lou Dobbs.
the great UFO expert.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know it, but I have a tramp stamp of Lou Dobbs. You wouldn't know it.
Lou Dobbs has one of me. We got him at the same time.
He wouldn't let you know.
But let's talk about Giuliani for a second. Rudy Giuliani in the news
Nasty
for
man.
something
More
that
like
I was
rooted.
not anticipating.
Nasty man of the
So
year.
Borat's subsequent movie film is coming out pretty soon.
I can't wait.
It's actually comes out tomorrow.
I'll be watching it tomorrow.
I'm so hyped. I have not been more hyped for a movie since the Dune movie was postponed.
Oh.
Oh God.
Yeah, why'd you bring that up? Now we got a sad boy, and I don't know if he's gonna come back. I don't know.
But I've not been more excited for a movie since then, and I was utterly crushed. So hopefully he won't postpone this.
The jockstrap? I
Seth
can't wait to see
Rogen
that.
says he's seen the movie 7 times and that it's the funniest movie he's ever seen.
Seth, that's a good. That's
Yeah.
a good person to have that come from. I
Yeah.
didn't see that. That's 7 times.
7 times, and he said it literally. There are parts in it that I have never seen anything funnier happen. I am so stoked for this,
Yo.
dude. Borat was like one of my favorite movies growing up.
Hold on.
And
Did we talk at all about what this section?
Nah, man.
What?
Yeah, you need to
what
pull
he
up
gets
the-
caught
do you-
doing. I'm about to read it out loud.
no, pull the link up.
Yeah, pull it up. Pull up the picture.
Not that article, but I have a link at the bottom of the page. It's the only one that isn't like textified.
Yes.
That is a direct picture of what was taken during Borat 2 during the bit on Rudy Giuliani that Sacha Baron Cohen did.
Oh
It
my-
is-
Holy cow! Can I just read
Yeah.
those?
Does it give the background of like?
It's 2-3 sentences.
Yeah, read it.
Rudy Giuliani is shown in a compromising position in a hotel room with a young woman acting as a television journalist in a scene in Sacha Baron Cohen's latest mockumentary, a sequel to his hit Borat.
Let me get in. A woman that Rudy Giuliani said it himself seemed young, unprofessional, uneducated, young.
She's played by she's playing Borat's daughter in this,
Yeah.
and she's played by a very famous woman, but I can't remember her name.
She's
right
in
now.
her 20s, but she's like
24.
a young-looking woman.
Maria Bakalova is her name.
A young woman playing a younger woman.
Yeah, she's playing a 16-year-old girl.
Bruh.
The scene shot in a New York hotel room in July, which resulted in Giuliani calling police, includes a moment where Giuliani is seen laying
How you
on
call
a
the
bed,
police?
tucking in his shirt with his hand down his pants, and the young woman nearby. Giuliani went to the hotel room thinking he was being interviewed about the Trump administration's COVID-19 response.
Hotel room interviews.
The young woman is flirtatious with him and invites him to the bedroom, which is rigged with hidden cameras. And now,
Show it.
Bruh.
and there it is.
Bruh.
You.
Bruh. Okay, so you guys don't know this yet, but we actually have a live audience member. It's our good friend Harrison Schwartz, and he has something to say on this.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Harrison.
I'm Harrison. Yeah, hi.
Could you get a little closer to the microphone?
Yeah, of course. What I did want to say about just my own little 2 cents about.
Give us some logos here too. Give us some.
Yeah, hold on.
Hit some credibility.
Yeah.
That's ethos.
Shut the fuck up,
just
Peter.
what I want to say.
You just lost all credibility.
You just lost the radical left.
Yeah, that's wrong.
You just lost the radical logos. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm wrong. No, but I just want to say about this actress who was playing a younger woman. All I have to say to that is that's how you're supposed to do it, cuties. I'm looking at you. Don't hire children.
Oh.
Yeah, to play children.
This is not
He's
what I-
referring
to
to
play
Cuties,
children.
the Netflix original, which
I don't think I have to really go into that at all.
This is
I
not-
don't really want to, but I just have
Although
to say,
teenage actors would disagree with you.
Oh yeah, no, I bet. But
yeah, I'm gonna stop you right there,
you
Michael.
want a teenage actor for this scene?
No.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
glad it was a 24-year-old woman.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be.
But his hand is on his dick.
That is not what I thought you were.
His hand
offering.
is
Yeah, wait, pull that up.
on his dick. Pull it back.
Thanks, everybody.
That is full grabbage of junk right there. I don't care if you're tucking in a shirt.
Oh, no, he's got his hand on his pants holding it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, he's
he's
holding his pants
making
up
space for the dick grab.
for the dick grab.
See,
Laying on the
there's
bed.
some boys in here who are some theater boys. So they this is what I thought Harrison was gonna say before we brought up cuties. Got some theater boys in here, and they know how a mic works. They know what a mic looks like. Have y'all ever worn a mic that goes in the front of your pants next to your neck?
No, you got some terrible audio people. You got some really bad people working
I don't
for
know
you.
why he would be laying on the bed
You gotta
touching
have a
himself
moist
like
box.
Hasn't this guy been on television
that.
before? Doesn't he know how the
flatly
microphone
he
goes on?
flatly denies that there was any wrongdoing. But yeah, I mean, it looks bad. And I can't wait to. I literally cannot wait to see this scene in the movie.
Yeah, I bet
I'm
that-
gonna lose my
It's
fucking
gonna end.
cool.
It's gonna end with him calling the police.
Yeah,
He's gonna be like, they made me do something I didn't want to do, and they got it on camera.
Yeah.
It's like,
But
sir, why'd you do that? It's gonna be like Sacha Baron Cohen as the police like the call coordinator or something. He'd be like, I'm sorry, you did what?
yeah.
the mic line wouldn't be going through the front of his shirt.
No, but I will say this, and this is a devil's advocate for sure. The most devil's advocate position I've ever sat in.
You can't take a mic off like that.
Listen, if you have a tucked in shirt and your mic is on, you untuck your shirt to take the mic off, and then you tuck your shirt back in. But
And you
there's-
touch your dick a little bit.
For no reason should his hand be grabbing that much of
He's
his
in the
dick.
balls.
He's full. He's around. He's in the gooch.
in the balls.
He's to the gooch.
To all our individual listeners out there that have ever done anything.
Never grabbed your balls.
Yeah, you ever done like a quick change? You know, did a mic change? Anything to
shout
do
out.
with a piece
You
of
don't grab your
microphone?
balls.
No, you don't lay down
Yeah,
Don't-
for
You
sure.
can't lay down doing that kind of
For
shit.
sure.
because the microphone is wrapped behind you, so you kind of have to reach it. So
Look at
you'd
his
be
face.
standing up.
This man is good and
Harris.
Look at it. Look at his face.
He's looking up. He's
got
like ready to
that-
pull it out.
He got that. Ain't gonna suck himself.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's
We're
put us
done.
back up. We're done. So we have one more milk story, but we're not gonna do it because
Mango.
we've taken a lot of time on this. So we're just gonna go right into thank yous. Brandon, you got any thank yous today?
I want to thank Sacha Baron Cohen for his hard work.
The king.
Yo, oh no! Continuing the Sacha Baron Cohen section, there's this great video of like him faking like a town meeting, and they're like,
Oh,
gonna-
is that Who Is America? Is
yeah,
that, yes, I
and
love
they're,
that
they're
show.
gonna like build like a new building, like a new monument in the town, and it's like new tax revenues, lots of money, lots of tourism, but it's gonna be a mosque, and they reveal it's a huge mosque, and it's like, okay, there's one model, and it's like a giant mosque, and it's like this model or this model, and it's a fatter mosque, and the people are like, no.
It's mostly white people in it too. So
Yeah, it's like rural,
rural.
Arizona. So it's the perfect place.
Dude, he's the great. Like, how are you just gonna walk it? Like, his life is in danger
Yeah.
when he does these things.
That's the problem with Eric Andre, right? I never know if it's scripted.
It's not.
And it's not. But like at some points, I never know if he's safe. With Sacha Baron Cohen, I never think he's safe.
I'm sure he is unsafe when he is doing these things.
No, for sure. Especially when he's with like the real Congress people and shit messing with them.
Truly, I think it's his soul. And when you look him in the eyes, he's got so much going on. He's just so deadpan when it comes to these things.
Yeah.
I think he knows how serious
He's
it is.
so smart,
he
too.
probably gives off
he's so smart he can't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Because if he does, that's when he cracks.
Yeah.
Probably gives off good, warm, like human energy. Like he's inviting to anybody.
He's trying to like.
I am
this
from
nice guy.
Kazakhstan.
Nah,
Kazakhstan.
I don't want to ruin the best.
I am
joke.
here to bring glory to once great Kazakhstan.
This is my daughter.
The best joke from that mosque video that I'm about to spoil.
If you haven't seen it,
They're like, so who's funding it? Well, it's going to be mostly, taxpayer funded, and it'll pay for itself, and the rest is funded by Hillary Clinton. It's like the one person that could make them even madder than just mosques.
So from what I understand, the Borat subsequent movie film, which is the shortened title, it's got a very long title.
Oh, yeah.
I can pull it up for you, but
We will be watching.
It's a.
That is stretch my ball.
He's trying to get a sexy monkey doll thing to Vice President Mike Pence, who he calls Vice Pussy Grabber.
All right. Well, I'm ready to take these off and call it a night.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a great time with this movie. We'll have a review next week.
Subsequent movie film.
That's what it's called. That's what it's called, dude.
Chaotic energy has entered.
Destroy.
I'm signing
Destroy
off.
the media. Destroy the hold it has on you.
This week I'd like to thank my family in Ohio for the love that they were sharing with me.
I would also like to thank them for being smart and wearing their masks and not getting sick.
I'd like to interrupt this love session to let you know that the full title is Borat subsequent movie film delivery of a prodigious bribe to American regime for make benefit once glorious nation of Kazakhstan.
That is some foreign.
That's one of the best. That's so good.
But yeah,
English.
I would like to thank your family as well. I think you had such a great time.
Yeah,
you came back all positive and upbeat.
I'm gonna do a little deep dive on my family.
Ohio.
Your family cares about each other much unlike mine.
Let's see who would I like to thank. I'd like to thank Brandon.
I like to thank Brandon.
Oh, do you have something else on that?
Nope, I want to end.
Okay. I'd like to thank Brandon. I'd like to thank Jack Tunney, our producer.
Hey,
I'd like to thank David Whitehead, our editor. I'd like to thank Harrison Schwartz for watching this. We liked his facial expressions and everything that he was doing. It kept us going.
Thanks,
I'd like to
brother.
thank Hannah O'Brien for being our #1 fan.
Absolutely.
I'd like to thank my neighbor for continuing to watch our shows.
And
I
listen
appreciate
to
you.
us while we record.
And listen to us while we record. And I'd like to thank you guys, the viewer, as always, for doing this with us. Please comment down below. We're really trying to get this question segment off the rails. You could ask more than one question, just like Hannah did. We're happy to answer any and all of your questions.
Yeah, we have one question for all of us, or all the questions for one of me.
Just Jack Tunney.
Never know. It's just fill them up. It doesn't even have to be a real question. You could miss the the question mark.
You could even ask Harrison a question.
Oh, especially. And if Harrison's not here, I will method act Harrison, and you will get a correct answer.
Look, but he's checked out again. We're gonna have a real conversation about this after the show.
I can't check out in the last minute.
No, you can't.
What are you talking about?
We're talking about good stuff.
The bell does not dismiss you.
I dismiss you.
The phone notification does not dismiss you.
Yeah. So
Your attention span dismisses you.
Yeah. Again, thank you for watching. We're gonna do kind of an accelerated schedule this week because I work around election, so I can't be doing election coverage and everything like I would have wanted to do. So we're going to do this show. We're going to do another show over the weekend, and then we're going to do another show next week, and then we'll probably have to postpone the show after that. But we're rushing through these. We're going to have some great info for you in this week coming up to the election. We're feeling good about it. Brandon's hyped.
Riding with
I'm
Biden.
hyped. Tunney's
Riding
hyped.
with Biden.
We're riding with Biden.
Riding with Biden.
We're going to make them concise. They're going to be short. And don't forget.
Well, probably not short.
Yeah, this one
Well,
was not short. And it was
I'd
supposed
like
to
to
be.
make some empty promises.
Yeah.
We just had a long
Please
first
don't
bite.
forget to like and subscribe and go comment. We'll see you next week.
Ride with Biden.
Vote, vote, vote.
Vote, vote, vote.
Vote, vote, vote.